Learning how to format paragraphs. Today we're going to work on learning how to format paragraphs, and again to review everything that you learn about the tabs, which are these across the top, and the ribbon will go from each Office program. So today we're going to be working at the Home tab, looking at the ribbon underneath it. And then there are groups within each one. We have learned about the font, changing the font, and that's in this group. Now we're going to learn about changing the paragraph, so that is in this group. One thing that we're going to work on is the alignment. So currently, you see how everything is lined up right along here. So everything is lined up along this left side of the paper. If you want to change the formatting, that's what these little buttons are for. You can justify it to stretch so that it goes from side to side, and that is supposed to change it, but it generally doesn't. I just kind of change it a little bit. It distributes the text between the margins, so it's not a good one to demonstrate. But if you go to the one next to it, instead of it being aligned along the left, it's going to be aligned along the right. So watch what happens when I click this one. Oh, I need to highlight the whole paragraph first. So I had to highlight everything that needed to be formatted and then click over there. So I even skipped a step myself. So this is aligned to this side, to the right. This is aligned to the left. This middle one right here will center it. So that means it's kind of evenly distributed. There's an imaginary line in the middle. This justify is supposed to stretch it out between the two, so you can kind of tell that this stretched to go from side to side further than it did when it was here. So it doesn't do much, but it does make them have a cleaner, crisper edge if necessary. The other thing that can be done, keep in mind I have to highlight everything to tell it I'm working with the whole paragraph, and you can make bullets. So every time you hit enter, which means enter, you may go to the next line, it will put a bullet. So that's what these bullets are. So as you can tell, I hit enter here and went to the next side. I hit enter here and started a new thing. I hit enter here. So that is bulleting. If you don't want to bullet and you wanted to do a numbered list, you click here and that'll be a numbered list for you. You can change the way the numbers look. All I did was click on that little arrow next to it to see what options there were. You can do outline form there. You can also do the same thing with your bullets. If you don't like that bullet, you can choose a different bullet to show what they look like, but the default is the circle. This is for outline form if you're doing more than one. So if I were to, instead of doing bold italics and I wanted that to be in, then this would be your form. So this is the example. It's a good way to take notes. So under styles, all of these are under there. So that's your that is your outline form. The other thing that we needed to cover was the spacing. So I'm going to undo what I just did. Spacing has to do with how close your, I don't want bulleted, how close your lines are. So these are kind of close together, which makes it kind of difficult to read, especially if it is a smaller text, which it usually stands about 14. So it's usually that little. For people to read, that it starts to blur together and hard to follow. So to change your spacing, you come to this one and you choose, right now it's 1 spacing, so that's as close as you can get. If you want to make it a little bigger, double spaced is this. Quite often, if a teacher asks for a report, they're going to want it double spaced so that it's easier to read. We can easily make comments in there. So that's what that's for. So we're going to go over those things real quickly again. Okay, first thing you have to do is highlight everything that's in the paragraph that you want to change. You do your list. This is your bulleted list. This is your numbered list. You can use that arrow to find different if you want different bullets or different numbers. These change which side of the page that it's lined up on, or if it's centered. I'm going to take that off. And this changes how close it is to each other, the spacing of your paragraphs. So if I were to type styles, this shows that there is more space between the lines. That's it. I hope that's helpful.